Hey, so today I've been thinking about a question and I've been pondering that question ever since I went on my Sovereign Leader Inner Circle community call. And this call happens once a month, and we discuss all things related to leadership, self-leadership, but also leadership of others. And today we basically focused, or we honed in on that question of leading others, especially during a pandemic when you are, well, basically working remotely all the time. And the question was more or less, or the topic that we talked about was very much related to how you keep your team motivated during a pandemic like this. But it brought up for me a question that had more to do with how do you make sure that you make the right calls? Because let me extend on that a little bit. When we are in an office together and we meet each other over the coffee machine, or run into each other, or just quickly show something to each other, all these sort of contact moments allow us to use all of our senses and tune into how the other person is doing. And as a leader, of course, your role is to make sure that the people in your team are empowered, are growing, have everything that they need to do their job well, and to, in some cases, in some moments, make judgments about how the work is and how their work is growing and performing and how they're doing. But normally, my point is that normally you have quite a few different sorts of input on that. Of course, you have the content of the work that they do. You see them, so you can judge how they're doing from their body language, from how they're looking, how they're acting. You can listen to them. You come into close proximity with each other, so there's even this sort of auras touching, energy colliding that makes it easier to pick up things about them. But when we're working online, there's partly those clues are taken away from us. Our sight, it's not the same, right? Because in a call that you're having with someone, even if the camera is on, the quality is not always that great, that perfect. So you don't see all the details. And even when you do, you know that a lot of what's going on with them is hidden, right? Just think about the sweatpants under where the camera is, to what, right? You don't see everything. And that doesn't have to be a bad thing. But what happens, I think, is it shines a light on something that is probably going on in the office as well. And that is that we make assumptions. And assumptions, maybe another word would be, we jump to conclusions. So we listen to the person that is speaking. We see what we see. We judge their work. And we come to a conclusion about how they're doing and what they expect from us based on, more or less, just based on what we hear and get and see from them, which is absolutely not everything. So more than any other time, when you're working remotely and when you're leading remotely, it's so important, and I cannot stretch this enough, to check your assumptions, to check everything, every conclusion that you draw about them, to check it. And this is true basically always. And many people, when they start using their intuition, they fall into this trap. They start using their intuition and tuning in on others and drawing conclusions and jumping to conclusions based on what they pick up and what they see and what they sense. And it's beautiful to use your intuition, and I'm all for that, and I promote that, and I teach that. And I want you to know that once you've made an assumption, or once you come to a conclusion about something or an idea about something, you have to check it. So you do that simply by just saying something like, okay, so from what I've been hearing, what I've been seeing from you so far, this is the idea that is growing inside me, or I'm hearing this and that. Is that true? Is that correct? Does it resonate with you? Am I on the right track or not? Because however intuitive you are, and take it from someone who I've worked on this for a long time, you can be wrong. You just can be wrong. Or you can be wrong, maybe even slightly, or in a few details. And it's so important to allow the other person the opportunity to correct you. And maybe that is the most important element here, because that gives so much ownership and sovereignty to the other person. If you allow them, or you take them seriously and check whatever assumption you're making about them, check it with them, and give them the tools, give them the the opportunity, but there's a better word, I can't think of it, but give them the opportunity to correct you, to bring in their own words, to bring in how they see it. So allow your intuition to guide you to those insights, those ideas, those assumptions, those quick conclusions, and then check them. And that is how you use your intuition in a very smart way. And that works remotely just as well as it does in an office. Especially when you learn to attune your hearing, to really sort of attune your energy to the people that you're speaking with. And this goes really well, this works really well if you do a one-on-one conversation. That's why coaching online is really powerful, just as powerful as when you meet in person. So what you do is you really tune in on that other person, and because energy is just out there, right? You can tune into someone's energy without having them sit next to you. Basically, when you do that, you work in a quantum field, and that's all around us. And so you can really tune into that other person and really hear what they're saying, even when there's no camera, even when you cannot see if they're wearing sweatpants. You can sort of tune into what they're saying and get to insights and ideas about what's going on for them. And then you check it, and then it's gold. So that's my insight for the week. I hope you can use this. I hope this resonates with you. And I would really love to hear your experiences with remote leadership, with tuning into the other person, and with using your intuition in this way. So thank you for sharing, for commenting and liking, and I see you soon. Bye.